Good morning and welcome to Monday Coffee. Last week we talked about these different ways of relating with one another. It was the bounded way, the fuzzy way, and then the centered way. And so the next couple of weeks I want to walk through this, and today we're going to walk through bounded. And what does that look like in our lives, with our relationships, within institutions, within our communities? And before we go down that road even further, I want to just make a statement that the bounded way of seeing the world and relating to others, we all have that in some way. We all have it in some way because we all need those boundaries to define ourselves and who we are. Institutions need that. And so you can't really get away from boundedness. So it's going to be there. But here's the thing. When boundedness becomes the thing, when it becomes the ultimate, when it becomes the thing you are defining yourself by, that's when it becomes a problem. As you can see, this picture shows us what the bounded set looks like, the bounded way, because if you are in the inner circle, if you are a part of this group and the people on the outside, they are the other, they are untrustworthy, you cannot... they are suspicious because they are not a part of you. They do not agree with the way you live and relate to the world. So now it creates a us versus them mentality. It does that when the boundedness becomes the main thing. And we talked about last week how the religious teachers wanted people to become righteous by becoming like them. But Jesus showed that no, you do not have to become like them in order to be righteous. I am already making you righteous without you doing anything. That now, this love that I'm giving you is going to spur you to understand where you've been out of step with the kingdom of God here and now. And that's going to change and make you transform. So boundedness is all about you have to be like us in order to be considered good. If you're outside of that, you're bad. And that's when the boundedness does not work well. Some examples of this can help, specifically sports. Sports are really good at bounded ways because you are either for this team or you're against them. You're either the good guy on the good side or you are the enemy, you are the bad guy. That's what all of sports does. And you even probably know some people, maybe even yourself, that if you cheer for another team that is not the team you are loyal to, you may feel a little guilty. That's because it's a bounded way of understanding the world, that you cannot cheer for anybody else because this is your team, and doing so would be almost like cheating. Instead of, in the centered way of how Jesus lived, is that you love the sport. Let's say it's football. You love the sport of football, so you're still gonna cheer for other teams, but it's not quite the same as the team you're loyal to, right? But you're still gonna cheer, and you don't feel bad for that because it's about football. It's not about the boundedness of that one specific team. And so I want you this week to think about where are the ways, or where are the places in your own life that you have this way of relating to the world in a bounded way. Maybe it's the ways in which you participate in your HOA. Maybe it's the ways you participate in your kids' school. Maybe it's your church. Maybe it is your relationships with your family. Because in some ways we have created boundedness in some way. And when boundedness becomes the ultimate thing, that makes us look at our neighbors in ways that they are bad people and suspicious people and not worthy of love. That's kind of what happened with the disciples early on after Jesus went to heaven, that they had this argument about, can Gentiles be Christians? And some thought, no, you have to be Jewish in order to be Christian. But ultimately they came out on the side of Gentiles can also be Christians. And so they were working their way outside of that bounded mindset that it has to be this particular way in this particular tradition. So what are ways in your own life that you have that? And look at it in a way of, is it becoming the ultimate thing? Is the boundedness becoming the very most important thing within that part of my life? And if it is, maybe it's time to make a change. We'll see you next week.